All right, we're going to give it a second here to load in as we're doing something a little unique. And welcome to Don't Bury the Lead. We recap WWE SmackDown every Friday night after the bell. But tonight is a special night as we are recapping Backlash. I am via a car. My name is John Zindel. I'm joined by Dom Scarcella. Dom, can you tell the people a little bit about yourself?
I am very intrigued by tonight's Don't Bury the Lead live stream. And hey, there's the name of the show. So John, without further ado, Don't Bury the Lead. You made predictions. I watched the show while you were out at a professional soccer game this evening. What do you think our top story is from WWE Backlash 2025?
Dom, we don't ever bury the lead. And the lead is obviously the main event. We've got heel John Cena with the title versus Randy Orton in his hometown. I'm going to give you my predictions, and I'm going to tell you what should have happened. The prediction is John Cena should retain. That's what my prediction is. Cena should retain. And a little fantasy booking here, something I would like to see is without any interference. Because I felt like we're still a little bit of a bad taste in your mouth from the Cody Rhodes win and Travis Scott essentially ruining the match. I think everyone agrees that was pretty bad. It wasn't The Rock. It was Travis Scott. It was the main event of WrestleMania. It almost ruined the entire WrestleMania moment here. And so from my perspective, I'm hoping that Cena goes over. He does something a little dirty, but he beats Randy Orton. So that's my prediction and what I hoped happened. Dom, why don't you give us a recap and who actually won
in
here?
About a 28-minute match, John Cena retains. You said you wanted there to be no interference, but you thought Cena would somehow win dirty. You're kind of half right, depending on what you mean by interference. At one point, there are 2 ref bumps. Yes, so one ref gets bumped. The other ref gets bumped when Cena hits him with the belt as Randy Orton ducks a belt charge. That brings down all sorts of officials and backstage producers to the ring, including Nick Aldis. Randy Orton annoyed because he had Cena pinned. RKO's everybody in a suit.
Okay.
Randy Orton is setting up for a punt. And as he charges, who slides into the ring? R-Truth to beg off Randy Orton and save his boyhood hero, John Cena. Randy Orton looks at him and keeps saying, "What are you doing here?" RKO's R-Truth, sends him out of the ring, keeps talking to R-Truth as R-Truth slides to the floor. John Cena with a low blow, then hits Randy Orton with the belt, covers him. The original ref, who had been bumped twice and was on the floor for like 15 minutes or so, crawls into the ring and makes the 3 count. This match was... I don't usually like saying that, boy, I'm so glad there was so many shenanigans at the end. But it was kind of slow until the shenanigans started. But you were right. Cena does have to retain here. He did. Post-match, he cuts a little bit of a promo where he says, I don't need your cheers. What I need is some competition. Nice. So, I wonder who that competition is going to be. You said you thought if there was interference, you could see it coming from Kevin Owens, meaning someone who's against Randy Orton. It was kind of like that. It was somebody who interfered on Cena's behalf, but it wasn't somebody that Orton has this terrible blood feud with. It was just R-Truth showing up, and I was like, what is he doing here? It's like, oh, that's right. He's 50-something years old and thinks that John Cena, who's 47, is his boyhood hero. So,
now that you mentioned that interference, how can I complain about R-Truth being in the spotlight? Right? R-Truth has been carrying the comedy act of the company for like years. Anytime he goes out, he does something that is great. So I can't, in my black heart that wants to hate the interference, I can't even hate on that. But you said it, in your opinion, it went over pretty well?
I think it was a good surprise. I mean, the home crowd there in St. Louis was behind Randy Orton. He's also the baby face. You had some "Let's Go Cena" chants, but they were always drowned out by the following "Cena sucks." So,
wow.
Crowd into it. Fun main event. At times it looked like it was dragging a little long, but 2 ref bumps, a bunch of RKOs on people wearing suits. It was a little funny though, because the original ref who got first took a bump, and then on the outside, as he's trying to tell Randy Orton, you can't win the match out here, Cena crashes into Orton from behind. Orton hits the ref. The ref goes hurtling back into the ring steps. He's down for several minutes. Nobody comes out to check on that guy. But as soon as the second ref comes in and gets hit with the belt, oh my goodness, there's 6 guys in suits running down to the ring. And nobody still checked on the first ref. Like, nobody cared. Nobody cared about the initial ref. It's like, you just bleed out on your own, buddy. Not that he was busting open, but nobody cared about the first ref. Everybody ran down for the second ref.
Amazing. So that's
crazy. The Fixer's giving you the recap too. I can see it on the screen here.
Perfect. Yeah, I just added the overlay of the chat so we can chat with the chat. Fixer, we have a unique show here. I'm in the car driving. Sam Sulik is a fitness influencer, and he often drives and talks. So I'm kind of doing a Sam Sulik thing tonight. And I'm doing the predictions, and then Dom's giving the recap. Anything that sticks out to you there from the Fixer, Dom?
Everybody RKOing everybody. He said not much of a wrestling match, more like a stage drama. I mean, they tried for a while. Guys were getting sleeper holds on each other. Randy hit attitude adjustments on John Cena using Cena's move. Cena at one point did this big thing where he was mocking Randy's movement. Looked like he was setting up for an RKO, then backed into the corner. Looked like he was going for a punt. There was one pretty cool spot where about 14 minutes into the match, so about halfway into it almost, Cena blocked an RKO, got Randy up into an attitude adjustment, and as he's delivering the attitude adjustment, Randy shifts and kind of RKOs Cena as Cena hits the AA on Randy. So it was a really cool spot where they each hit their finisher on each other at the same time. And then they were both down. Yeah. So there were some real good feats of moves and counter moves. That was a really neat bit of athleticism and timing there to make it work. But yeah, a lot of it was, 2 refs bumped, but RKOs for everybody. R-Truth is the surprise little bit of levity at the end, telling Randy, please don't hit John, no, not like this, don't punt his head, don't kick him in the head, Considering that everybody figured Cena had to win his first title defense, this was pretty entertaining, because these matches have to be difficult to book because nobody's expecting Randy Orton to win this. And if Randy Orton does win it, now everybody's going, oh, well, now what? Is Randy Orton on his retirement tour now?
Yeah.
So for a match that Cena almost guaranteed had to win, they did a good job of keeping it interesting and giving the fans, especially in the live arena, it sounded like something to cheer about and to get into. Lots of false finishes, some neat stuff going on. I don't think people were shortchanged on this. If people left WrestleMania's main event with a bad taste in their mouth, I don't think this match did that. Even though I mean, technically speaking, from a technical wrestling standpoint, this wasn't, anything groundbreaking that the Cody Rhodes match wasn't. But I just think this match, I don't think anybody who saw this match was like, oh, that sucked, man. I can't believe they did that. I mean, I think this was a decent showing.
That's the lead here. We're talking Backlash recap here. Maybe I'll call out the next match, and probably because I'm bizarrely curious about what happened here. I'm going to talk about Gunther versus Pat McAfee.
All right.
And Gunther, in my opinion, should beat Pat McAfee. Having said that, Pat McAfee is okay. And if Gunther is able to get a decent, he's okay. There's Logan Paul, Bad Bunny. Logan Paul could definitely go. Bad Bunny is probably a little bit more than serviceable. Then there's other celebrities like Jelly Roll, the trash, Travis Scott, trash. Travis Scott's really bad. And in the middle of the pack there's Pat McAfee, where he's athletic and he's had some okay matches. But if Gunther can drag a great one out of Pat McAfee, then in my opinion, give Gunther the belt. He should already have it anyway, in my opinion, but that's another story. So what do you got here? Who can you tell me the winner and the recap of this?
Sure. Match? In what may have been the match of the night, Gunther beats Pat McAfee in 14 minutes. 14 minutes this match went. Gunther eventually wins it with a sleeper hold. Pat hangs on for a while, gets back to his feet, tries the elbows, but Gunther reapplies it, and Pat is unresponsive for the win by submission for Gunther. Michael Cole at one point was dragged into this match. He got away from the announcers because the way this match went for a while is that Gunther's just toying with Pat McAfee. Lets him get some offense in, then it's kind of laughing it off, destroys McAfee, and Cole is like, just cover the man and win the match. Get the match over with. Cole playing up that he's really concerned for his friend Pat McAfee. Cole at one point, as McAfee gets trapped in a Boston Crab, Cole runs to the ringside, and now Wade Barrett does a pretty good job of just holding down the announcing by himself the rest of the match. Cole is just imploring McAfee, just give up, end the match, give up, and McAfee won't do it. And at that point, Gunther walks over, grabs Cole, and throws him into the ring. And now he makes like he's going to attack Cole, gets him into a couple of holds there. McAfee recovers, kicks Gunther at one point square in the head. Cole retreats back to the floor. Gunther is going to suplex McAfee back into the ring, but as he goes for the suplex, Cole grabs Gunther's foot. McAfee nearly steals a win. Gunther manages to kick out at 2, even with Cole grabbing his foot and holding him down. So there was some neat stuff in here. It was obviously Gunther's a better wrestler, but Pat McAfee was a decent enough athlete. He did some cool stuff. He tried a moonsault from the top rope. Gunther rolled out of the way. McAfee landed on his feet. I mean, stuck the landing. So good on Pat McAfee. He is more than just a punter. He gave a good showing for himself. After the match, as Cole and McAfee are in the ring, Gunther's just staring at both of them. And Gunther, he doesn't do the handshake, but he's just like glaring at both of them, little smirk on his face, and just kind of gives the bow and the hand out, like, hey, you did all right for yourself. And Gunther leaves the ring. The way Gunther was wrestling this match, it was total heel. Total heel. He's one of the few people in the WWE who is a heel and who can maintain the heel. As much as people appreciate Gunther, he's so good as a heel at this point. That's my only concern for your prediction for if Gunther has a good match with McAfee, he deserves to beat Cena for the title. The problem is that would be heel on heel. Gunther's, somebody has to beat Cena for the title, and then maybe heel Gunther could do it. Or perhaps this match, they go back to Raw and this becomes Gunther turning into a babyface finally. If that happens, then yes, Gunther could beat Cena for I mean, frankly, I'd be curious to see if John Cena could put on the kind of match that Pat McAfee put on tonight. You know,
wow. So high praise for Pat
McAfee was good. He has the facial expression down. He didn't try and do too much. And he clearly played the underdog role. He was the feisty underdog the whole time.
Okay.
Pat McAfee knew what he was doing in there. He knew his limitations. He knew his role. He did not try to get outside of himself. The things he did that were kind of surprising for people, like that top rope moonsault that he landed on his feet when Gunther rolled out of the way. He didn't botch it. The only thing he may have botched was he was out on the apron. He tried to slingshot himself into the ring, and his foot got caught on the top rope, and he kind of stumbled toward Gunther instead of, catching him flush off the springboard. But other than that,
now
which we've seen pro wrestlers who do this for their full-time job get their foot caught on the top rope, because that's a tough move. Other than McAfee trying that one and botching himself just a little bit. But I mean, Gunther and he worked fine even after that botch. They just went right into what it was supposed to be, got back into the match. This is great work by McAfee for what he was expected to do. It's also great work by Gunther. So I think your prediction was spot on. That, Gunther should win, but McAfee is okay in the ring, but he wrestled. I think McAfee wrestled completely to his potential. And I think that says a lot of good about Pat McAfee.
So what about, I was curious, how was the crowd's response to McAfee? Was he way over?
He was kind of over. And again, he was wrestling the kind of match that he should wrestle. He's the feisty underdog, lots of go out and get him enthusiasm, but it's just not working all the time. Good enough athlete, and showed it in the ring where it was plausible that this wasn't a 3-minute squash match. I mean, these guys went 14 minutes.
That is
14
crazy.
minutes. This was the second to last match on the card. It was well deserving of that placement because it was really fun to watch. It was really entertaining.
Awesome.
Yes. 14 minutes, Gunther, Pat McAfee. In fact, this match went about almost 5 minutes longer than the match that preceded it. If you'd like to go to that one, it was the Intercontinental Championship. Dominik Mysterio versus Penta. This match went about 9 1/4. Do you want to go through your prediction for this one?
Yes. So my prediction here is Dirty Dom Mysterio is going to retain. I thought this would be match of the night because Penta's really good and Dirty Dom is just so over and is also very good. I'd say a good wrestler, and Penta's has had some great singles matches in AEW. So I assume this would be the match of the night, but Dom's not going to lose the title just yet. What did you think, or I should say, who is the winner and what is the recap, Dom?
Okay, eventually Dominik Mysterio gets the win here after all of Judgment Day, the 3 males in Judgment Day. So Finn Balor, JD McDonough, and Carlito come on down. Yes, Dominik Mysterio retains after a top turnbuckle splash for the pinfall. There was also a little interference from El Grande Americano from the Gulf of America. As the ref is throwing all 3 members of Judgment Day out of ringside to the back, here comes El Grande Americana as Penta is climbing the turnbuckles. El Grande Americano, Chad Gable, hits him with the loaded mask, which causes Penta to stumble off the turnbuckle, and that allows Dominik Mysterio to hit the top turnbuckle splash for the pinfall. This match went about 9 minutes and about 15 seconds, somewhere in there, about a quarter. This was a match that should have been on Raw.
Yeah.
It wasn't bad, but this clearly was. I mean, for 9 minutes and all of Judgment Day interfering again, and then El Grande Americano interfering again. This should have been on Raw. No knock on either of the guys, but I mean, nobody. This was also a tough match because they're still trying to play Dominik Mysterio as a heel, but
Yeah.
Penta's not really over as a face.
Yeah.
He's over in the sense that, oh, he's athletic, and if you tell him we're supposed to cheer for him, I guess we'll cheer for him. But he's not so over as a face that he can keep people from cheering for Dominik Mysterio. Now, Dominik Mysterio is really trying to play the heel here. Like, he's covering his ears as the crowd seems to be cheering for... The crowd's cheering for him more than Penta. And he's covering his ears, pretending that the crowd is cheering for Penta more. So this was a rough one, just because Penta's not the guy who can keep Dominik Mysterio heel.
Yeah.
WWE has a dilemma on their hands here, because he is going to be a babyface unless there's someone in the ring who decidedly can get more of the crowd, not even turn the crowd against him, but just be more of a babyface. It has to be almost an LA Knight kind of guy.
Yeah. That is interesting. Actually, I would say I probably saw this coming with him being so over as a heel. Eventually, people start to like him.
Yeah.
When they are way over as a heel. And, I think we've even had videos with Dirty Dom and Logan Paul. Done really well, and everyone is very supportive of Dirty Dom. And Logan Paul will never be a face because he's a legitimate piece of shit person. So he'll always be a heel, thankfully. But Dirty Dom seems like a really cool dude, pretty down to earth, chill, like knows how to he just is a cool guy. So at the end of the day, he's not going to be able to be a heel forever, which isn't such a bad thing. You might see him turn face as the Intercontinental Champ.
I think it may happen sooner than later. It looks like he's becoming he's reached an inflection point in Judgment Day, where when Rhea Ripley was still in Judgment Day and they were a couple, Rhea would get cheered when she was out there without Judgment Day, but as soon as he shows up, they're back to booing.
Yeah.
He was the flashpoint that made everybody boo. It's now an inflection point where when Dom is by himself, he's getting cheered.
Interesting.
And it's the rest of Judgment Day that draws the boos.
And
they're pretty good heels, like Finn Balor, Carlito, JD McDonough. Those guys are good heels. And those are the guys who are keeping Dominik Mysterio heel when he's with them.
Do we have anything in the chat, Dom? I'm going to cheat and see if
we do. The Fixer says here that Dirty Dominik Mysterio, he will turn face when Finn Balor turns on him. Yeah, they're looking like they're setting that up. Mysterio did get the pinfall on Finn Balor in the Fatal 4-Way at WrestleMania to win the belt. So, yeah, that could be coming. They teased a little bit today that as JD McDonough was holding Penta up and Finn Balor was supposed to clock him, Balor went to the timekeeper's area to get a folding chair, which took a little extra time. By the time he got back with the folding chair, the ref saw it, told him, hey, your guy's disqualified. If you use that, you're getting fined or whatever. Finn Balor drops the chair. Everybody's begging off like, we're not doing anything. That's when they get thrown out. So they're even playing it up on the announce booth today that, Finn Balor, he took too long getting that chair. That may have cost his stablemate there. And then, of course, El Grande Americano saved the day for Dirty Dom Mysterio.
That's random, isn't it? El Grande Americana is involved with this match, but yeah, that
looks like he and Penta could have a good program.
That's probably where they're headed, right?
Yes, I would think so. Not a bad match, but I mean, it shows that WWE Creative has a dilemma on their hands.
Now, we have a couple other matches. As I back up, I want to take my time. I don't want to kill anyone.
Yes.
How about the U.S. title? We got L.A. Knight obviously Jacob Fatu is the champ.
Mm-hmm.
Damian Priest and Drew McIntyre in a fatal 4-way.
Okay.
So I
This
thought
is the first match of the night. Do you want to go through your prediction?
Yeah, I predicted Jacob Fatu will retain. And this was going to be like a fun, brawling, crazy one where there's going to be tables, there's going to be like lots of brawling through the crowd, all that fun, you know. I don't want to call it junk wrestling, but we're not going to have like a technical masterpiece. I would think like more it's going to be like brawling and fun because all the guys are way over. And my prediction was Jacob Fatu retains, but somehow LA Knight gets screwed over by Drew McIntyre, and then they'll have a program separate of the U.S. title. So kind of very specific predictions, but I'm curious, what is the outcome and what is the recap here, Dom?
That's a really good prediction. I'm going to say you nailed it, even though it wasn't McIntyre who cost LA Knight the title. Jacob Fatu does retain, hits the top turnbuckle moonsault on LA Knight for the pinfall. But it was Drew McIntyre and Damian Priest brawled into the crowd, and they basically took themselves out of the match.
Okay.
Damian Priest wound up hitting the South of Heaven sit-out choke slam threw off a pile of equipment cases, through some tables to the floor. So they took themselves out of the match. This match goes about 18 minutes. It was wild fun. This was probably action-wise the match of the night.
Okay.
I do like what Gunther and Pat McAfee were able to do. But action-wise for just pro wrestling, this was a match of the night. For 4 big guys, they worked right away and worked fast. And there was a lot of good technical, I don't want to say technical wrestling because it wasn't like grappling all the time, but there was a lot of good timing, a lot of good spots in this match. Everybody worked really well together. This was a great match. It was the opening match for the premium live event. And you're wondering, okay, how do you start off an event like this and really get people going right away? Well, you put this match first, and the first guy you have them announce is LA Knight. Enormous crowd pop right away as soon as he walks out. So you've started the show with a huge babyface pop. So really good planning there on their part. I do like how this match happened. Eventually, Jacob Fatu was just laid out on the announce table by LA Knight, who then climbed the turnbuckles like he was going to do his elbow drop through the announce table. At that point, Solo Sikoa appears. Damian Priest and Drew McIntyre have just incapacitated themselves a couple of minutes ago. Solo Sikoa appears to pull Jacob Fatu out of harm's way. Now LA Knight climbs down and goes after Solo Sikoa. He's stalking him, and from the crowd, a new guy appears and ambushes LA Knight. It looks like it's another one of the Samoans, except he has the completely un-Samoan name that I've ever heard. It's Jeff Cobb.
Nice.
Do you know who Jeff Cobb is?
I only know him from like New Japan. And,
okay. So you know, very good, because they tried to play it up on the announce table like, he's one of the most sought-after free agents. It's Jeff Cobb. And I'm like, they couldn't give him a better name than Jeff Cobb?
Yeah.
He looks like neither a Jeff nor a Cobb.
Right? Jeff
so he's
Cobb.
0 for 2. It's not even alliteration, so we can't blame Vince McMahon.
Jeff Cobb does sound like your accountant, right? He does not sound like a pro wrestler. Not even like Jeffrey Cobb. Jeff.
No.
Yeah. Wow.
No nickname. It's not like Jumpin' Jeff Cobb or whatever.
Jumpin' Jeff Cobb would be better, which is a bad sign for his name.
Right? Like I'm stealing the Killer Bees from the 1980s. Jumpin' Jim Brunzell.
Yeah.
Like Jumpin' Jeff Cobb or something, you know. Killer Cobb. Something. Spell his last name with a K. Killer Cobb. Do something. Don't have like this guy just jump over the barricade, ambush LA Knight, and have Michael Cole have to go crazy. That's Jeff Cobb.
We got one
Really?
from the fixer here. I'm going to give him the overlay.
Jeff Cobb will be the one who gets Jacob to turn face because Solo will use him to replace Jacob. Jacob Fatu, when he finally recovered from being beaten down there on the outside and saw that Solo Sikoa and Jeff Cobb were out there basically to help him, Jacob Fatu was not pleased. He looked annoyed that Solo and Jeff Cobb, I'm going to keep saying that, helped him, because I can't say that Solo and Jeff helped him. I guess, he was ambushed by Jeff.
Yeah.
Like, you can't even use his name as one. Like, Solo, you can use it as one name. You can't use Jeff. So I know the man with with 3 H's is watching us right now, even though he's got a press conference to do. Find something to do with Jeff Cobb. Give him a new name. Something. Come on. Use your creative. But yes, even after the win, after Jacob Fatu reluctantly gets back in the ring on a nearly defenseless LA Knight to win the match, as they're leaving the ring, Jacob Fatu just kind of walks right by Solo and Monsieur Cobb. So yeah, this is a weird wrinkle on the bloodline thing, where the bloodline would always win by interference. And, of course, Roman would act like, oh, yes, that was supposed to happen all along. I'm the best. Like, they're doing it to Jacob, and Jacob's getting annoyed.
Mm-hmm.
Like, so Solo's doing what he always did for Roman. Interfere and get him the win. And he's doing it to Jacob, and Jacob is not happy.
Interesting.
So I like that. Jacob Fatu looks for everybody in this match, even though these were big guys. These guys worked fast. They looked incredibly agile in the ring. If you just wanted to watch a match, this was the match of the night to watch. Everything was fantastic.
Does LA Knight have like a direction, do you think, after this? After like not getting the US title?
Yeah, this is 2 premium live events in a row. He's gotten pinned by Jacob Fatu.
Mm-hmm.
For the U.S. title belt. Yes, LA Knight's path here is to blow through Bloodline 2.0.
Okay.
And maybe at some point, Jacob Fatu comes to LA Knight's defense, and those guys tag in an impromptu tag team at some point. Because Jacob Fatu is getting over. At one point in this match, the loudest cheers were for Fatu.
Yeah.
Fatu. So everybody looked great in this match. This is 2 world champions, LA Knight, who's way over and who can do anything, and Jacob Fatu, who is also, despite supposed to be a heel, way over and can do anything. Watch this match.
Okay.
It's the first match of the night. It goes 18 minutes. Watch this match. Skip the intros. We all know people's songs by now. Nothing happened in the intros. Nobody got jumped during the entrances. Skip the intros. Just watch 18 minutes of this match. This is the most fun in the ring.
Nice. Anything else from this match, or do you want to move on to thinking of the remaining matches?
The remaining match, it's one more Women's Intercontinental Championship. Lyra Valkyria versus Becky Lynch. This match goes almost 19 minutes. Do you want to get to your prediction?
Okay. My prediction was Becky Lynch wins the title.
Mm-hmm.
And no shot at the girls, or no, I'm not trying to be negative, but I thought that this would be kind of a snoozer. Because I don't really, and maybe it's because I don't watch Raw, so maybe they were building something on Raw. Mm-hmm. But my prediction was this would be kind of almost a bathroom break, but Becky Lynch would win it. And let me know who wins it and the recap.
I'm going to tell you your prediction was absolutely wrong.
Wow.
Lyra Valkyria retained, and this was a good match.
Yeah, okay.
This was a good match to watch. I'm going to draw a comparison here. Becky Lynch and Charlotte Flair, two established veteran stars in the women's division who are now trying to put over younger people. Charlotte seems to be having trouble doing it, especially as a heel.
Yeah.
Becky Lynch, maybe it's because of Becky's brawling style and because she's always been better on the mic than Charlotte. Becky seems to be leaning into the heel persona better.
Mhm.
Becky Lynch wrestles a great heel match here. Keeps the crowd against her the whole time. It's heel aggressiveness. She does a great job trying to get over the younger babyface. Lyra Valkyria, for her part, she's a great athlete in the ring. She's not a charity case at all, holding this second-tier belt. She wrestled a great match. Eventually, as Lyra reverses a roll-up for the pinfall, she took kind of, leading into that final thing there, Lyra hit a sit-out broken arrow. The ref was a little slow to make the count because Becky Lynch had torn a turnbuckle off the top rope, the padding.
Mm-hmm.
And so the ref saw it as Becky tried to throw Lyra into that exposed turnbuckle. The ref saw it, grabbed the turnbuckle, and was going to put it back on when Lyra very quickly hit the sit-out broken arrow, reversing a manhandle attempt. The ref saw it, ran down. She was just a second late getting to the count. So Becky Lynch kicking out. It was like, oh, you felt so bad for Lyra Valkyria there. But then they went to a series of roll-ups that started with Becky Lynch going for what looked like a thumb to the eye, which either did actually catch Lyra Valkyria in the eye or hit her a little too flush in the nose. Because as they're going to the closing sequence, Lyra is like grabbing at her eye and her nose like she's either got a slightly broken nose or got legitimately poked in the eye. Post-match, Becky attacks immediately after the bell. Like she's surprised and offended that she lost. Puts Lyra in that arm bar, that disarmor that she calls it. Many officials run down to help break the hold. The problem is that Lyra might have legitimately got hit in the eye or nose, so she's not really selling the arm as much as she's grabbing for her nose and her eye. So it was a little bit of unfortunate there at the end that Lyra's not selling the arm because she took a shot to the head. So, but you know, other than that, other than it getting a little too real there at the end, this was another good match to watch. It was not a snoozer at all. Becky Lynch is a real pro in there.
Awesome. Well, you know, Dom, I'm glad I was wrong because when I was writing the predictions, I had to just go with my gut and what I thought. Mm-hmm. But, you know, you want to err on the side of like you want the performers to succeed, especially with an aging Becky Lynch, and especially with an up and coming Valkyria. I just don't know a lot about her.
They apparently had a big history, especially down to NXT. Lyra looked up to Becky a lot. Becky was her mentor. They had a match down in NXT when Lyra had a belt there, and she actually beat Becky Lynch for it in their match. So they did play up that the two of them have a history. I also get, as you were making your predictions, you figured that one of the titles would change hands.
Yeah.
So you picked this one. None of the titles changed hands. The guys who walked in with the belts walked out with the belts. And in the case of the Fatal 4-Way, Jacob Fatu pinned the exact guy he pinned last pay-per-view to win the match.
We got one from the Fixer. I think Becky Lynch caught Lyra right at the corner of her eye.
Yeah. It was corner eye, bridge of the nose. Something, but like it affected the finish a little bit. Although Lyra stayed with the roll-up and got the win. And then what it really affected was the post-match beatdown.
Okay.
Yeah, because Lyra, they're right at the end of the regular match. Yeah, she took a shot and grabbing the eye, the nose area. Michael Cole was trying to play it up on the announce desk that maybe she broke her nose because she's grabbing for her face, right up near the nose.
Yeah.
So good cover by Michael Cole there as well, because the post-match beatdown looked a little awkward. It's also a little awkward that like you can't get a 130-pound Becky Lynch to break her grip on Lyra Valkyria. There's 6 of you out there.
Yeah. They do sometimes have a trouble with the brawls with like the huge male security guards that are just thrown like they got to get some female little security guards to have it make a little bit more sense, right?
But even the female ref is bigger than everybody is bigger than Becky Lynch in this entire program. John Cena was yelling at a 10-year-old who was bigger than Becky Lynch. Becky's tough and she's very athletic, but at some point, if there's 6 people trying to get Becky Lynch off of Lyra Valkyria, that should be very easy with one person.
I love that Cena yells at a 10-year-old. That's great. Wow,
it's a shtick now. It's all he does.
I'll tell you what, it almost sounds like this even overshadowed the main event. Like it sounded like it might have been a better match than the main, which I would have never guessed.
Wrestling-wise, everything was a better wrestling match than the main event. The main event was saved because the nostalgia of Orton versus Cena. They've wrestled 10 times previously in premium live events, and I think they said their record was 5-5. So they had exactly split their 10 matches going into this. The main event was saved by nostalgia and by all of the shenanigans. Just that it became, a melee at the end of everybody getting RKO'd, and eventually Cena just winning dirty. Surprise appearance by R-Truth. But as far as what happened in the ring, I think everything was, if you're just a real pro wrestling fan, you like the grappling and the in-ring work, you're going to be more impressed with everything other than the main event. Even the Intercontinental match that for the men that only went 9 minutes. I mean, it's not like they dogged it. These guys moved fast and they were moving pretty good.
Oh, we have someone from Twitch. Can't believe Cena put Truth through a table in the post show. Big sad.
I did not see. I didn't see the post show really. I stayed long enough for John Cena insulting the crowd and saying that he needs some competition, but I didn't stick around, especially since it looked like WWE on the Peacock feed cut to commercial, which usually means the show's over and they're going to the press conference.
Thank you. 2 in the Stinky. Hilarious name.
There you go.
We got one from the Fixer too. It's kind of, I don't know what this word is.
Farcical, to be honest.
Oh, farcical. To be honest, when the guy is 4 times as big as Becky Lynch.
Yeah, there were, everybody's bigger than Becky Lynch.
Anything else from this match, Dom, or from this I should say this show, Dom?
I don't think so. You had good predictions, which were a lot of fun to read, and especially as I would watch a match, I would peek at your prediction and just, I mean, you had a lot of good stuff there. I mean, as fantasy booking goes, your predictions were pretty good.
Yeah. From my end,
even when you didn't get it right, for the most part, what you were close. Like you knew someone was going to interfere in the main event. Something like that. You knew somebody would cost LA Knight the belt.
Yeah.
And Jacob Fatu would retain. So like you didn't get the exact name, but like you were there on all of it. It was a good job by you making the predictions. And I will say this to anybody who's catching us now on the live stream, or if you're catching us on the archive show there at YouTube, don't bury the lead on YouTube. Subscribe, help us climb the next mountain there. If you're watching there and you haven't seen this entire premium live event, the show's over in, I think, under 3 hours. It's not a very, very long show at all. I mean, go watch it. It's actually, as I look at it here, this was, this whole thing was over in under 3 hours. This was 2 hours and 40, not even 2 hours and 45 minutes by the time they're done.
Well, go watch it after our show.
Go watch it after our show. John, also watch it if you want to. Especially since the the best stuff was really right at the beginning. The opening match was great in-ring action. Watch it.
Okay, I like it, Dom.
Yeah. Is it time? Is it drive time here on Backlash?
It is drive time. Even though I'm out of the car, I couldn't have timed this worse. I should be driving.
Right. Do you want to run back into your car and just sit in there for drive time?
Yeah.
No, the lighting's better here, and you're the correct orientation on the screen. So better for the viewers now. So we got to do it for the fans. But the thumb drive, that's where you and I distill this entire premium live event into a simple thumbs up or a thumbs down. There are no ties. There are also no star ratings, no letter grades, no number grades. For my friends who are just finishing all their finals at college for the spring semester, you are taking this course, pass, fail.
Dom, we're not Dave Meltzer.
No.
We don't do star ratings. We don't say, 7 stars in the Tokyo Dome. 4 stars in an AEW show in the Atlantic City Boardwalk. No. No. We don't do star ratings. We give a simple thumbs up or thumbs down. So, Dom, what I'm going to do is I'll get a thumbs up or thumbs down based off the booking. So, I didn't see the show. I'll give it based off the booking, and you can give it based off the show. So, ready?
Yep.
3, 2, 1. Oh, 2 thumbs up.
Yep.
Wow. Yeah.
I will give it a thumbs up because for a premium live event that was over in less time than a Friday night SmackDown, I got to see lots of action. I mean, even the little botches here and there. So what? I mean, that happens when you're taking chances. You know, not everything goes perfectly, but everybody recovered from it. Unfortunate that Lyra Valkyria took a shot to the face late in that match, but even then she went through with the finish fine. Fun pay-per-view to watch. Like I said, if you've sat through a Raw, if you've sat through a SmackDown, you will enjoy sitting through Backlash more than that. Now, I'll wait for you to give your thumbs up because I do want to mention something else about Backlash, but it's kind of a tangent.
Okay. So from my perspective, all the people that needed to win won. Hearing the recaps, it sounded like the matches were pretty good, and nothing too objectionable happened. The only thing I would say would be like if I had heard R-Truth or I had heard what's his face interfered, Travis Scott interfered again, then I would have given an auto thumbs down. If something awful happened, but it sounded like we just had some regular match. It wasn't too long. Any time you get a 3-hour show and you get some wrestling and it sounds like some of it was at least good, that's a thumbs up in my book. So we got a couple comments that came through here, and I just want to highlight them.
Do any of them have thumb up or down emojis attached to them?
Yeah, we'll have to ask you, Fixer, thumbs up or thumbs down. And then also, Two in the Stinky. Really wanted to see Gunther put Cole through a table. Would have been way heel heat. Would have been amazing.
It looked like that for a second. Gunther got heel heat just grabbing him and dragging him into the ring. See, that's when you know a guy is really good, when you don't have to resort to the cheap heat. You can get heat just by being a really good heel. I mean, Gunther really didn't have to do anything to Cole except drag him into the ring, loom over him, fake like he was going to put him in some sort of hold. And like that was enough for people to boo the crap out of Gunther as they were doing the entire match. Gunther really is a complete pro wrestler in the sense that he doesn't need those crutches, literal or figurative, in order to do his job as a heel.
Yeah. The Fixer here said it was a decent event, if a little too predictable.
Okay, so the Fixer, you say a little too predictable. No titles changed hands. If you saw that coming going into the premium live event, that's pretty impressive.
Two in the Stinky here. We got This is a thumbs up.
Okay, very good.
It's an emoji from Twitch, but then it comes up to us. It says, seems
very good.
good.
I like the very good. Thank you too, and the Stinky watching us on Twitch. Thank you for joining us live on Twitch. Whether you're joining us live on Twitch, live on X, or live on YouTube, please know that the mother load of content is on YouTube. Don't Bury the Lead, a wrestling channel. Subscribe there. You can rewatch the live streams. You can also watch the edited videos that John makes and the hashtag shorts that are under 60 seconds. So catch all of our content, relive it, or see it for the first time. Don't Bury the Lead on YouTube.
Oh, thanks, Two and the Stinky.
Very good. Thank you. Thank you much. We appreciate that.
Thanks for subscribing on YouTube. Two and the Stinky, for 2 reasons. You know, we always want new followers, which is great. 3, so that's good. You're chatting, which is awesome.
Yeah.
So follow us on YouTube. And then 3rd is the name Two and the Stinky. I need to have a subscriber with the name Two and the Stinky.
Very good.
So, I love it. And then yeah,
I think if we ever give a show 2 thumbs down, we'll call it a Two and the Stinky.
A Two and the Stinky. All right, so
I do want to give a little tangent here. 2 years ago, you and I did Backlash in Puerto Rico. We recapped it.
Yeah.
And that show wound up being such a launching pad for 3 people who were not main eventers and one who was just getting into the main event in Rhea Ripley, but Zelina Vega, Io Sky, and Damian Priest. As I look at this year's Backlash, as fun as it was as a show, I don't see that anywhere. I mean, Lyra Valkyria was already the champ. If she had beaten Becky Lynch for the belt, then you could say, oh, wow, this really catapulted Lyra Valkyria. But I don't, this show was a bunch of veteran wrestlers doing veteran wrestler stuff and kind of being predictable. And I think this may be what the fixer meant where he said it was predictable. Like, this was just veterans doing veteran stuff. There was no like, wow, I can't believe Zelina Vega's that good. I never saw her wrestle. Or, wow, Io Sky can wrestle as a singles wrestler in a championship match and look like she belongs. Or, wow, Rhea Ripley looked like a monster, but yeah, Zelina Vega looked good going up against her. Or, oh my goodness, Damian Priest out of the Judgment Day shadow in the main event looks like he belongs. Like, he looks like he's arrived. I didn't get that impression here from anyone. And Backlash 2 years ago, you can go back and watch that tape. I think I said right away that Damian Priest became a star that night. Even though he lost, he had to put over a celebrity in a weapons match, you know, a San Juan street fight. Damian Priest became a star that night. I did not see any up-and-coming wrestler kind of become a made wrestler tonight. This was just veteran guys doing veteran stuff. That's not a bad show, but it's not the kind of show you're going to look back on in 6 months or a year or in 2 years and go, remember Backlash 2025 when da-da-da-da-da happened? I don't see that happening.
Yeah, it wasn't as iconic.
I don't see that happening.
But it was a good show, just didn't have that Puerto Rico iconic
I don't think it's
vibe.
going to have legs. Nothing happened here that you went, oh, somebody's taking the leap tonight. Dominik Mysterio, he's already taken the leap. So is Jacob Fatu.
Yeah.
Lyra Valkyria's already got the belt. Becky Lynch is already great as a heel. We know that. John Cena and Randy Orton, 2 guys who have taken the leap farther back than anybody else on the roster currently. I mean, 20 years ago, they each took the leap.
Right.
Pat McAfee, is he going to wrestle? Did Pat McAfee take a leap?
It sounds like Pat.
He's not good enough to be a full-time wrestler. He was good enough to be a celebrity wrestler. He did okay for himself. Maybe we'll look back at this and say Gunther's nod of respect at the end of the match, post-match, was Gunther beginning his face turn. Maybe that's it. But other than that, I mean, the thing I'm going to remember probably most years from now is that the WWE tried to debut this new monster heel, and his name was Jeff Cobb.
Yes.
I mean, when they had guys whose gimmick was accountants, they gave them different names. It was Erwin R. Shyster.
McGregor's left testicle just followed. That is too.
Thank you very much. Friend. Thank you. Another one. Very good. What did you guys think of Backlash 2025? I thought it was a fun show.
We got Zelina needs to prove herself still. I'm going to need to see her take a Bubba bomb off the top rope through a table.
She is a smaller wrestler, and she hasn't wrestled a lot, but I think the introduction of the second-tier belts for the women's side, both the Intercontinental and the U.S. belt, I think gives their growing women's roster more to do, which I think is good. And for having that second-tier belt, I think Zelina Vega, she's plausible in that mix. Yeah, I wouldn't put her in the world title mix at this point, but Zelina Vega is certainly plausible as the U.S. women's title holder. Yeah.
We got another one here from the Fixer. Gotta say, I find it odd that WWE released Braun Strowman but hired Aleister Black. I kind of have to question the logic a bit.
Okay, yeah, if you're looking on pedigree, that does seem weird. However, Braun Strowman he does not look good. He looks like he's lumbering around in the ring. His knees are giving out on him. He's carrying too much weight. He's been injured on and off for the last couple of years. So it may be just the case that, it's unfair to him to have to make him go out there and do what he needs to do at this stage of his career to remain relevant. On the other hand, Aleister Black, they probably signed for less money than they were paying Braun Strowman. And Aleister Black at least has some, he can do more things in the ring. They could probably get more out of him. It doesn't look weird if they send Aleister Black into the low card or mid card the way it would look weird if they did that to Braun Strowman. Braun Strowman's in a tough spot. With his pedigree and his name, he's got to be a top card guy, but he just can't move like a top card guy anymore. And I know he was never, Rey Mysterio at his size, but he really struggles to move around the ring. I think he gave his all getting Jacob Fatu over.
Dom, he's a victim of his size right now in this stage of his career, because it's not believable for him to go out and lose a job. It just isn't. And he hasn't really figured out how to become that guy. And I'm sure there is some guys out there that are really big and lose, but because he's just so big, the expectation is that he's always going to win or like be the dominant force. Like you wouldn't have like Penta, a new guy, versus Braun Strowman and watch him like kind of beat up on Braun Strowman. So he's just a victim of his size in the new era. It kind of leans towards more athletic guys rather than just being big. So, and that's probably what really led him to this.
Now, he did go out in style. He put Jacob Fatu over as the big monster, allowing Jacob Fatu to really make him look vulnerable. So Braun Strowman went out in style. He looked like he was trying to do the same thing for, oh my goodness, Bronson Reed last year, but Bronson Reed had that unfortunate injury during War Games. So Braun Strowman, I mean, I'm not saying he wrestled poorly or that he didn't do the jobs for people and that he didn't use what he had to help other guys get over. It's just that it became what he could do was much too limited, and sending him out there, you almost felt bad for him. It's like, oh, this guy can't move around and he's so big.
Yeah, he has to be a top guy, and he doesn't have the ability to, and he's already been a top guy for years, so it's just tough to keep him up there.
I could see him coming back on a Legends deal at some point, being a great guy to bring out at the conventions. I mean, you'd want your picture with Braun Strowman just because he's enormous. Like everybody looked like a midget next to Braun Strowman. He's a guy who seemed like he, was affable enough as a personality. I could see him coming back on a Legends deal at some point. I don't think I have no news reports or inside information that he left on bad terms. I think they just ran out of stuff that they could plausibly ask him to do.
We got this one from McGregor's left testicle. I'm
There you
kind of
go.
hoping the WWE gets rid of Wyatt Six stuff. Seems
Okay.
like it's not being widely accepted.
It is not, and it's not getting over. And I think they were trying to lay into too much nostalgia there with that. Like, everybody liked Bray Wyatt and what he was doing, and how interesting of a guy he was. And when he passed away, I think they would try to bring it back. I tell you, one guy they've kept around without a lot for him to do, but they haven't released him yet, and I hope they find something for him, is Karrion Kross. Karrion Kross is the kind of guy who has leaned way into every gimmick they've given him, even if the gimmick was a little like, really? You want him to do that? You want him to be just this like mysterious dancing person, or everything they gave Karrion Kross to do, he's leaned into really well. So maybe that bodes well that if you're going to have like this mysterious dark arts guy, it looks like either Aleister Black is going to be that on SmackDown. Maybe Karrion Kross is going to be that on Raw. The Wyatt Six stuff, it seems like they're trying to find things for those people to do. It looks like it's a rehashing of Judgment Day almost. It's like the Misfits who had nothing else to do, who are all outcasts. And the problem with Wyatt Six is that you already had Judgment Day killing it. Like, you already have that group who's doing that mode. And that group is just crushing it everywhere. Like, Judgment Day is awesome at what they do. So, having another band of misfits, I don't think there's a place for them. So I'm going to agree with you there, McGregor's left testicle. I think the Wyatt Six stuff, I don't think it ever really caught fire. Judgment Day was already doing that shtick better than them. And, there's other guys like Karrion Kross, and now perhaps even Aleister Black, who do the dark art stuff better. So I'll give you the nod there. Yeah. I don't watch a lot of Raw, which is where most of the Wyatt Six stuff was happening. I also know that maybe Alexa Bliss was supposed to be the last gasp for the Wyatt Six, like re-signing Alexa Bliss and putting her into that faction. But that hasn't seemed to have panned out at all.
Mm-hmm.
Alexa Bliss, they don't seem to be doing hardly anything with her, which is strange considering they have second-tier belts now, and you'd figure somebody with a name like Alexa Bliss would be involved in either the women's U.S. picture or the women's Intercontinental picture.
Hey, Dom, I want to hit up some of these other comments here. So,
excellent. Let's go.
Real quick, the fixer said, although Aleister Black is Lena Vegas' husband,
really? I did not know that.
Oh, you didn't know? Okay.
I did not know that.
Yeah. They're
now, I heard a rumor that one of the people released is Damian Priest's significant other.
Oh,
but I don't know who. I don't know who. But if somebody can help us out with that, if you know, let us know in the chat there. Okay, so Aleister Black being on TV, they do this every now and then. They made sure that they had Ricochet and Samantha Irvin on the same program together. They got engaged. They made sure that let's see who else. Johnny Gargano and Candice LeRae were kind of on the same program for a while. Same thing with Becky Lynch and Seth Rollins. So they've been and they've done a pretty good job of keeping Charlotte Flair and Andrade apart from each other.
Yeah.
They had a falling out in their real life marriage. So they haven't very well stayed away from making that a thing, although there was a little hubbub about Tiffany Stratton and Charlotte Flair going there during a promo leading up to WrestleMania. But yeah, I think for the most part, WWE, hey, they're a big time corporation now. You have policies in place for employees who are married, romantically involved, publicly an item, especially since it's a celebrity kind of corporation and you're dealing with people who are in the public eye. So I think they're mindful of it at least a little bit.
A lot of stuff here from about Karrion Kross too. Karrion Kross needs a good fixture. Says Karrion Kross needs a good push.
Agreed. First, they got to settle on a gimmick, and maybe Karrion Kross is his own worst enemy, because if they give him a crappy gimmick and he hits it out of the park, they wonder, oh, maybe that was a good gimmick, rather than saying, no, that was a crappy gimmick, and it's just that the guy leaned completely into it and gave it his all.
Yeah. That just would be like if Kane was the dentist and he really, really was just doing his best to become the dentist instead of
Which he was. Isaac Yankem, DDS.
But you know what I mean? Like if he had really was effective in that, and then what if we never had Kane and we always
What if we never had Kane and the dentist was a 15-year WWF veteran holding world titles?
Yeah, like holding world titles, like having like crazy matches with Undertaker. Like no, not
right.
Not his. That would all go away. Not his Dominik brother. This dentist is gonna bury him. You know, he buried Undertaker. So
Karrion Kross needs a great. What is that there?
Great OD storyline. I don't know what that means.
Okay.
He has such great promos.
Yeah, I do. I'd like to see him get a good storyline going with somebody. He does. He cuts a good promo. He understands character acting. He's also physically formidable in the ring.
A little bit.
The only times we saw him in the ring, and I think we each agreed we didn't like him, was when they put him in there with guys doing luchador moves.
Yeah.
And he was understandably hesitant to take Hurricane Ranas off the top turnbuckle. Like he doesn't belong up there, you know?
Right. I'm moving you around here. Sorry.
No problem.
Can you see this?
I think the reason we haven't seen Alexa Bliss because they've been doing a rewrite on Alexa in the storyline. Well, and that's what I mean. Like she was supposed to be the last gasp for Wyatt 6. So the fact that hasn't panned out probably doesn't bode well for Wyatt 6. And I wonder if that means they're maybe hesitating on what to do with Alexa Bliss. Like they're going to the secondary plan on everybody.
Mm-hmm.
And that's usually not a good sign if you're a lower to mid card person.
It was crazy because it came in with so much heat. Bray Wyatt still fresh in everybody's brain.
Mm-hmm.
They were doing the promos with Uncle Howdy.
Mm-hmm.
And then they had one segment backstage where somebody got beat up and they're all like standing over them and it's like looks crazy. Like the cinematography was fantastic. And that was it.
Yes.
And that was it. Was Uncle Howdy in a match? In a pay-per-view?
I don't think he ever made it to a pay-per-view. They did some matches on Raw. A lot of them were faction-on-faction matches, though.
Mm.
You know, it was guys like Dexter Lumis and other guys who I'm forgetting. Guys who have bounced between NXT and the lower card on the main roster. Who, you know, I'm glad they got another shot at the main roster. But again, like the Misfit faction, that role is spoken for. Judgment Day is killing it.
Mm.
And of course, they never wrestled Judgment Day. They were wrestling American Made, going after Chad Gable and the Creed brothers.
Yeah. One from the picture, Andrade and Charlotte got divorced.
Yes, yes. And that's why, in good taste, they are keeping that off screen and out of storylines.
Yeah. All right. Really active chat tonight, guys. Thank you so much. We're in the Italian goodbye here. So the Italian goodbye is when we say, hey, you know, it's time to end the show. But typically, you know, we do it the Italian style. So, you know, you're in the kitchen, you know, you're packing up the food to go home, and then, you know, you're about to get going. They're like, oh, let me pack this up for you. And then you're having more and more conversation about what you're packing up. Then you go to the foyer and they're like, oh, yeah, well, let's set up the next time we're going to hang out. And you're in the foyer and you're talking in the hangout. Before you know it, it's another 30 minutes. So this is the
and we're doing that real style tonight because, you know, we're hanging on here because we're getting some great chats in the live stream.
Yeah. I have a couple.
We will hang out in the foyer as long as you guys want to keep chatting.
Yeah. You know what? How about you?
Although I may be speaking out of turn there. Perhaps, John, you need to do other stuff.
No, I'm good. I'm pretty free. So
how was the Union game tonight? Was this a playoff game? Professional Major Soccer League there?
No, it wasn't a playoff game, but it was a lot of fun. Stadium was sold out. I highly recommend going if you ever get the opportunity to. It's a small stadium right in Chester, Pennsylvania, right along the bridge. The downside is that it is not accessible via public transportation.
Yes.
The upside is the parking there is really cheap. And they have good amenities there in the stadium. They have good food. I got a bottle of water for a reasonable price. I got
There you go.
like a bag of popcorn for $7. I mean, that's a lot, but it's not terrible.
The
So
movie theater will charge you more.
exactly.
I have been to that stadium once for a Union game. I enjoyed it. I noticed one end of the field. Did they still have it? Did they call them the Sons of Ben?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, they are still there. The rowdy homers, the Sons of Ben.
I was there, and we were in the normal section, not Sons of Ben, but we're a couple rows, we're a couple sections away. We're like 2 sections away from them, so we could hear all the shenanigans, all the chants, all the stuff. You know, no one likes us. We don't care. They're singing that instead of "Oh my darling, oh my darling, oh my darling Clementine." They say they don't like it. They don't like us. We don't care.
No one likes us. We don't care.
Yeah.
There you go. That was not happening while I was there more than probably 10 years ago, maybe even more than that. It may have been almost 15 years ago at this point. And I remember and turning to the friend I was there with after the Sons of Ben really got into a long string of their cheers and everything. I said, "Is that section aware there's a soccer game going on?" So yeah, it's a fun night out.
There's some chats. I just put them up on the screen.
Okay, pick your favorite one.
Let's start at the top here. I can see El Grande Americana getting unmasked at some point. Ooh.
Oh my goodness. You know, because it's been a rumor that it's Chad Gable. But I don't know.
I
mean, was Chad Gable wrestling in the 1950s? I highly doubt it. Is Chad Gable from the middle of a large body of water? I don't think so.
Black screen incoming. LOL. Maybe something I said earlier.
Oh, was that when you put up the black screen there? A couple of times you faded out, I think, to readjust your camera there.
Yeah.
Black screen. I hope you guys are not losing connection to us. We are live streaming, so our connection to each other has been very good this entire show. But if you're on a platform where your connection is breaking down, either for your connection or for the platform you're on, Twitter, Twitch, YouTube, sorry about that. Out of our hands. Let us know if you're having some technical difficulties, though. I would hope that the live stream that gets archived on YouTube does not have any glitches, because you and I are having a pretty good connection here.
Yeah. We got a couple here. So
okay.
Last I heard, the Wyatt 6. Let me see if I can get this one up. Hang on.
We're in SmackDown. Have we seen them in SmackDown? Maybe a cameo, but they haven't been regulars at all, even with that show going to 3 hours.
Last I heard, maybe that's how off TV they are. If you watch Raw, you think they're on SmackDown. If you watch SmackDown, Raw, they're just off TV, right?
And you can't send them down to NXT.
Mm-hmm.
There's too many of them. Oh no! Ouch.
It's because. Let's see here. I can see El Grande Americana getting unmasked at some point. It's because of the Chad Gable theories and the metal plate cheating. So because he keeps hitting him with the metal plate, they're going to make him take his mask off. That's a good idea. Oh. That's actually a really good call.
Oh, that would be a good booking wrinkle. Okay. And they're going to be like, we need to check your mask. Take off that mask. Take off that luchador mask. Uh-oh. What other stuff do you got down there you want to go through?
It says, I got one more chat here.
Okay.
As long as El Grande Americano doesn't get cut, then we're all good.
Chad Gable, El Grande Americano. He may be pound for pound the strongest guy in the WWE.
Seriously,
like physically strongest guy. I mean, he does those belly to back suplexes where he does not release. He goes into the bridge, and then he does the three amigos off of that. You know, where he just wiggles the hips and just keeps the guy gut wrenched, picking him up. He's a very, very strong wrestler. He can do just about anything in the ring. I think Dominik Mysterio's, maybe this is a little ironic, but Dominik Mysterio's Intercontinental title run here as an undersized wrestler may be the thing that Chad Gable needs as an undersized wrestler to say, look, if a guy's a great performer, you've got enough title pictures around here where he can get a push. I could see Chad Gable getting a U.S. title or an Intercontinental title before the year is up. I don't know if he or Dominik Mysterio could get pushed into the world title picture on either program, but Chad Gable can do anything in that ring.
I am going to live up to the chat from the fixer here, and I'm going to grab something. I'll be right back. Black screen time.
There you go. Black screen. There, the incoming on the black screen. I love it. I've got a beverage here myself. It is just water. It is in my giant mug. There you go. Cheers to whatever you're getting there, John. Other things from the chat there. Let's see if I can read some of these here. I think we've hit all of these. I think we've hit up McGregor's left testicle. Chad is amazing in the ring. Agreed. There's nothing he can't do. He can grapple. He does the high flying stuff. He's sneaky strong and can do power moves. He sells well. He knows how to play to the crowd. He's an amazing heel who stays heel, even though I'm certain that at this point the crowd appreciates his work. Yet he stays heel when he's in there. I mean, he's not top level build as far as his size, but he's top level talent, ability level. Yeah, Chad Gable's is amazing. I'm with you there. Chad Gable amazing in the ring.
Yeah, he's a great.
Is there somebody underrated on the roster who you think, who you really enjoy watching?
Oh, yeah, chat.
Somebody underrated on the roster who you enjoy watching. For me, it used to be when we started this, it was LA Knight. And then he was so good that he became, top of the card or near top of the card and in some of the title pictures. So yeah, we were on the LA Knight bandwagon before really even the crowd was. Let's see who else. Yeah, is there someone who you really like? Chad Gable is kind of a tweener there because I think he's so well known and he's been around the WWE long enough that I think everybody knows Chad Gable at this point, but he's never gotten that real main event push. But I always enjoy Chad Gable. He's always good television.
I could probably get one from the SmackDown side.
Okay.
Pretty Deadly.
Deadly? Okay. I think two people in a row just are you guys colluding there? McGregor's left testicle and the Fixer? You each nominated JD McDonough.
Wow.
Absolutely. That guy is gold. He had a real life injury that he sustained in a match, and he made it worse because he finished the match with it and did a high spot at the end. I think it was when Judgment Day had the tag titles. And I think Dominik Mysterio has talked about this in a shoot interview that, he kind of regrets not knowing how badly injured JD McDonough was so that he could have maybe protected his tag team partner a little more as that match played out. But JD McDonough is gold no matter what he does. He gets drowned out by the Judgment Day. See, I'm going to say the reverse of that. I think JD McDonough is making Judgment Day as good as they are, because when Judgment Day goes out there, he's the fall guy for them. He's the guy taking the biggest bumps. He's the guy getting destroyed so that the other guys can interfere. He's the one who's always getting found out and then pummeled by somebody. He's the guy taking the punishment. JD McDonough is gold. He's awesome. He's paying his dues right now, and he's running and doing as much as he can with his opportunity, which is what you want to see anybody do. Yeah, JD McDonough, great call. I think, John, were you and I even talking about that JD McDonough? I mean, I think we talked about in one War Games how great he was in that.
Yeah, in War Games. Mm-hmm.
When he got a chance at that. Yeah. Cheers for everybody saying JD McDonough. Absolutely.
Yeah. No, I think JD McDonough is a good one. Try to think here. Maybe from the women's side at this point, Naomi. I think she's got something going, and I'd like to see her win. I know she'll lose to Jade, but I'd like to see her continue this heel streak. And I think Jade could have had a really boring rivalry, but she struck gold with Naomi.
Yes.
So this change by Naomi has been might be career changing for her. It's
career changing for her, and it's the thing that Jade needed.
They're both really helping each other out here.
Yeah.
Because you could see they have interest in continuing the program. If the program wasn't going anywhere, they would have just had Jade win and then Naomi just continue to do it. But no, I think she's really going for it now.
Mm-hmm. I like that too. Yeah, Naomi's a good call out. She had more success her last go around in WWE. So far in this one, they've not pushed her to the moon yet. But yeah, this kind of program with Jade, sure, let's see more of it. Very good.
Fixer said Jade. Wait, we have. Bear with me. If JD could get a solo push, it'd show how good he can be.
Okay.
And then one more here.
I will not argue with that. He's fantastic in everything they've asked him to do so far.
One more from the Fixer. Jade's going to get a big push soon.
We threw out that prediction as well when we saw the stare down between her and Tiffany Stratton and the tug of war over the title belt as SmackDown from the previous week went off the air. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that looks like it's coming. And it looks like she's ready now. She wasn't ready before. So that'll be good. Let's see. You mentioned on the women's side, is there somebody I want to see get a push on the women's side?
Yeah.
Unfortunately, they keep releasing them.
Right.
Let's see. Maybe Alba Fire. She's currently as part of the Secret Hervis for Chelsea Green. But maybe Alba Fire. That was a pretty entertaining tag team with her and Isla Dawn. And she's taking well to this new role in the Secret Hervis. Piper Niven's been great in that as well.
Piper Niven, maybe.
Michin. Michin looks like she's getting better on the mic, and she's never bored me when she's in the ring.
Yeah.
So Michin could be a good person. They're hinting that she and B-Fab might be a tag team and could go after Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez when Liv is done filming her movie over in Japan.
Mm-hmm.
So that may happen. This was a great question asked 2 years ago at Backlash. Because we would have been talking about Zelina Vega, Io Sky, and Damian Priest.
And now look at them.
And now look, right? Yeah, how great it's been there. But yeah, cheers for everybody who said Chad Gable, JD McDonough, Michin, Naomi, all great picks there. Mm-hmm. Yes. And that's important, especially as they try to drag out these shows to 3 hours like they are on SmackDown. And like I've heard hinted that at some point Raw is supposed to go back to 3 hours on Netflix.
I'm going to do the dishes real quick, Dom. I'll
Very
keep
good.
On, but turn my camera off.
Okay.
I'm listening.
If we're getting more chats, I will stay on and talk to all of our friends from around the interwebbies.
Yeah, we do have a couple here. Do you see the top one there from the Fixer? There's a lot more.
Julia and Stephanie Vaquer, yes. Roxanne Perez just got through a program with Io Sky on Raw. Yes, there's a lot of good wrestlers, especially on the women's side in NXT. They should be ready. Yeah. Julia, Roxana Perez, Stephanie Vaquer. Yep. Yep, all three of those. Yes, so NXT talent that looks like they're ready. Yep. And Pretty Deadly. I'm glad, John, that you called out Pretty Deadly there. Pretty Deadly they've done their best with what they've been given, I think, so far. And they've wrestled really well. I think at some point, Grayson Waller's got to get something. They sent him and Rhea Ripley down to Australia to do a bunch of radio spots over the last couple of weeks because Crown Jewel is going to Perth, Australia this year. So they're talking that up, some native Aussies, and they're having a good time. And Grayson Waller is fantastic in these interviews. He's got a personality, but he also knows how to kind of protect the business as well. He's not doing total shoot interviews where he's giving away the magician's secrets. So he's really good. A guy like him, Austin Theory, I don't know if he has the ceiling that Grayson Waller does. I think Austin Theory's got a little bit of a lower ceiling, although he looks great in the ring and he bumps like crazy for people.
Yeah. I got two things to say.
Sure.
One, Grayson Waller needs to turn face. He's not a heel. He's not getting over as a heel. He needs to be a face. When he was playing face in Australia, and made so much more sense.
Okay.
Secondly, Austin Theory, God bless him. I don't know how you come back from getting chokeslammed by Jelly Roll and Burt Kreischer. Burt Kreischer is another slob. He's a stand-up comedian. That's like a joke. Yes. Literally.
And part of his act is the fact that he's so out of shape physically.
Yeah, his gimmick is that he's a fat, drunk loser. and then you get chokeslammed by him.
The Fixer has a theory that is almost exactly the opposite of what you just said, John. He thinks Grayson is going full heel, but his tag partner is turning full face.
Okay.
You think Austin Theory has a face run in him? That's intriguing. I don't know that he's had a face run yet. I think he's always been kind of the annoying heel. Even when they gave him the U.S. title belt very early in his career.
Yeah, Austin Theory's been he's been in some trouble ever since Vince is no longer with the company. He looked like the guy there for a while.
Yeah, because he's that chiseled physique and he does move around the ring very well.
Yeah.
He's a Vince guy. He looks like a bodybuilder.
Yeah, he's a bodybuilder too. Yeah.
After what Grayson did to Austin Theory, getting him into a match the other day. Yes, that's kind of their gimmick is Grayson mouths off and Austin Theory winds up in matches.
Right.
Which is sort of what they're trying to do with Solo Sikoa and Jacob Fatu. That Solo Sikoa keeps getting Jacob Fatu into trouble. It's Solo's fault that Jacob Fatu had to wrestle a fatal 4-way to defend his title tonight at Backlash.
Yeah. I don't know. Grayson Waller and Austin Theory, they're in trouble, I feel like, in their careers. Like, they can keep, I don't know. It's not looking good.
They did get a run with the tag title belts.
Yeah.
And that was good.
Mm-hmm.
I like seeing that. And of course, when a team like that, a couple of annoying heels, when they finally lose, it's, it's a good, satisfying payoff.
Mm-hmm.
So very good there. How about Cody Rhodes getting at the Backlash pay-per-view, doing a Wheatley whiskey spot.
Really?
He was not out there live, but they did one of the commercials, commercials that you see on Peacock. It's like, oh, they got Cody Rhodes onto the premium live event. There you go. So that was very good. Yes, Grayson Waller, I think he's going to be really good. I think he already does show flashes of that, and he also leans into the fact that he's got that the Grayson Waller effect, his talk show. Like when he's down at doing radio spots in Australia, he's talking about how, you know, he's gotten all the greatest stars on his show. You know, so it's fantastic. Yes, the Fixer's saying yes. Grayson switched himself out for Austin Theory, and Theory took a beating. Yes. Yeah, that's his thing. Grayson Waller mouths off, and it winds up being Austin Theory in the match. One way or the other. Yeah. So yeah, I although that would be the perfect thing where Grayson Waller could somehow turn that into a face roll, and Austin Theory could remain heel. I don't know. If there's a way to do that, I'd like to see it. The last time Grayson Waller went over to Australia to do a round of promos, he went over with LA Knight, and the two of them had a blast going on radio shows and even some TV shows together. And they just had some good chemistry themselves. So that's where it showed. That's where people started saying, like, Grayson Waller's got some just good. He's got a good mind for improv, and he's well spoken. He carries himself well. You know, he looks like he belongs there next to LA Knight, who was at that point very over as a babyface.
Yeah,
this wasn't like way too early in LA Knight's run. This was LA Knight after he had gotten way over. So I think Grayson Waller has a babyface run in him. Perhaps it starts off as a tweener, and then the crowd just gets behind him because he's cool.
Mm-hmm. I would agree. I think that
Austin Theory, Fixer says, was really unhappy about it this time, as he should be. The problem is Austin Theory. They're playing Austin Theory as if he's the dumb guy. Like Grayson Waller is the brains, and Austin Theory is the dumb guy who keeps falling for stuff. They seem to be doing that with Seth Rollins' new faction with Paul Heyman and Braun Breaker, where they're trying to play Braun Breaker as this wide-eyed, naive guy, even though he's been in NXT for years and has been a two-time Intercontinental Champion already on the main roster and has paid his dues and grew up in the business because of his father and his uncle. And they're trying to play Braun Breaker as kind of the dumb guy who needs to be taught. So I think that there's that kind of dynamic that they play in every now and then in these tag teams or factions. And it looks like Austin Theory is the dumb guy who doesn't, know enough for his own good. That will be an interesting dynamic going forward.
Yeah. Was there any? So there was just Cody Rhodes in a commercial.
He was in a commercial for the spirits, the fine spirits that he's been pushing. He did an extended. I found these somewhere on the interwebbies where he was doing sit-down interviews with guys over this Wheatley vodka. Maybe it was vodka. The Wheatley brand, whatever their hard liquor is.
Yeah.
And it was, it was kind of a talk show thing, enjoying a drink. Which is interesting because The Rock, he's hawking a beverage line himself there. His tequila brand. So yeah. I wonder if the seed has been planted for a Cody Rhodes heel turn.
Well, you know what? It's interesting. I guess he's taking some time off, but so they're having him do this. But man, oh man, will they just never let these guys like? Well, they say no to any form of advertising ever, No,
it's extra money in the pocket. It's good for you. It's a way for you to stay on TV even when you're not on TV, as Cody Rhodes was tonight. We haven't seen Cody Rhodes since WrestleMania.
Mhm.
Yet here he is doing a big advertiser spot in the middle of the premium live event. Thank you, Fixer. Yes, Wheatley vodka. It took me a while. It took me a while to remember it was vodka. Thank you, Fixer.
Because you can make an American.
See, he is the Fixer. He's living up to his handle. The Fixer is fixing my my difficulty there, remembering what kind of alcoholic beverage Cody Rhodes is hawking for us there on the commercials.
You can make with the Wheatley vodka, you can make an American mule instead of a Moscow mule.
Ah, there you go.
That's one of the things they were saying. It's ethnocentric.
Very good.
The
Old Spice ad was just stupid. Was that the Miz in there? I thought I saw Jey Uso in an Old Spice ad. Was it both of them? Jey Uso's getting a good push now, and the Miz is hanging around with Carmelo Hayes and helping get him over, and Aleister Black. So those guys are around for a while. I think that's when you knew LA Knight was here for the long haul, was when they gave him the Slim Jim spot.
Oh, yeah.
Once LA Knight a year and a half ago started doing Slim Jim spots, it's okay. They think this guy's a star.
That's one of their big sponsors, right? That's been there for years.
And you're replacing the Macho Man.
Yeah.
It's LA Knight and Bianca Belair for the last year and a half as they've had Slim Jim back as a sponsor. Doing all the Slim Jim spots. So that's good to see. By the way, since we're doing Macho Man Randy Savage call-outs, watch tonight's premium live event. Not now, because you're watching Don't Bury the Lead. But if you do go back and watch this premium live event, Backlash 2025 from St. Louis, there is a guy in the front row dressed in full Macho Man Randy Savage entrance garb. Look for that guy on your TV sets. That was fun to see. More dressing like famous old-time nostalgia wrestlers. We like that. That being said, maybe somebody can dress like the Junkyard Dog. Come out with an enormous chain around your neck. Let's see that. Show up as Hulk Hogan and see if people boo you.
Will people boo you?
Yes.
Probably.
Yeah, there was a... Okay, so Fixer, you saw him. Yes. The Fixer saw the Macho Man look-alike there in the crowd. That was very good. Crowd was into it tonight. We got our Let's Go Cena Chuck Sucks chants. We got the Let's Go Penta, Let's Go Dom dueling chants that Dominik Mysterio was trying to play off that he was getting booed, even though he wasn't. So he's trying. So long as it's not the Honky Tonk Man. No, I want a fat, bad-looking Elvis impersonator at the shows.
Was he at one point the longest ever Intercontinental Champ?
He was, yes. Gunther broke his record. Yes, very good. Honky Tonk Man. Yeah, that's a great call out. Yes, I want to see an out-of-shape Elvis impersonator at these shows. Yes. Doing the shake, rattle, and roll finishing move. Very good. So this show overall gave it a thumbs up. John, I liked your predictions. Now that you've heard what happened, John, if you could still hear us even while your camera's off there. Now that you've heard what happened, are there predictions you have going forward now that you know how these matches finished up? Ooh. Lyra Valkyria beat Becky Lynch, but suffered a ambush post-match. The John Cena, Randy Orton thing did not have Travis Scott, did not have Kevin Owens, who is still hurt, probably legitimately. But it did have R-Truth. The four-way match did have somebody costing LA Knight the belt, but it wasn't Drew McIntyre. The Mysterio Penta match had all of Judgment Day and El Grande Americana getting involved. And Pat McAfee Gunther was not a bad match. In fact, it was like, in a sense, it was riveting to watch Gunther bring Pat McAfee along through that match.
Wow, wait, hang on. Fixer has a great one. Cena is never losing a title. It'll retire with him. Whoa.
Yes. I'm on board for that. I'm on board for John Cena suddenly becoming invincible again and never losing the belt. I'll go with that. Very good. If someone were to beat Cena, who would it be? How would it go down? I mean, Gunther would have to turn face for it, or Cena would have to turn face and keep Gunther as a heel. I mean, they can't just run it back with Cody, can they? It's happening. So the Cena never losing the title is happening. It's happening. Well, Fixer, you're 1 for 1. First title defense was successful for John Cena. For heel 17-time champion John Cena. We did not do a formal Cheap Heat segment tonight, but I did see a little Cheap Heat. Tom Brady, former NFL quarterback, shoe-in Hall of Famer. Tom Brady was on Logan Paul's podcast, Impulsive. He was asked who the greatest wrestler of all time is inside a WWE ring. Tom Brady did not beat around the bush here, went right to it, said Hulk Hogan. So if we were going to do Cheap Heat tonight, that would have been it. Tom Brady on Impulsive saying that Hulk Hogan is the GOAT. Because people are wondering, who's the GOAT? Is it John Cena? I'm saying it's John Cena because of what John Cena had to do as a champion during the most tumultuous time for the WWE. Becoming a huge publicly traded company, trying to increase its market share, all of the things you see now that are so successful happened because John Cena was so good at what he did. So I say it's John Cena. The Fixer, he's not losing it, meaning John Cena with the title. Everybody has either had their shot or is busy in other storylines. Yeah, like, that's a good point. Who's even going to be John Cena's next opponent? There's no storyline. Cody is on hiatus. That's correct. Cody looks like he's getting some much-needed and well-deserved time off. He just beat Randy Orton. Who's he going to fight? Yeah, who's it going to be? I agree with Drew McIntyre. It's a good thing that the U.S. title picture is so interesting because that's the real belt and Jacob Fatu is the real alpha dog on SmackDown right now. It's not John Cena. Cena's talking a good game, but he's doing something that's different from the really top-notch pro wrestling that we're getting in the ring from guys like LA Knight and Jacob Fatu. And even Drew McIntyre and Damian Priest when they get in there. KO is injured legitimately, correct. And he's a heel too. That wouldn't have worked. There's got to be a baby. And Seth is on Raw, but Seth is also a heel. Who's a good baby face at this point? Does Roman Reigns show up as a baby face on SmackDown and go after Cena? Who's a top baby face that gets fed to Cena at this point? Everybody else is in their own angles right now, in their own feuds. Agreed, Fixer. All of the other really good wrestlers have something to do that doesn't involve John Cena. I wonder if The Rock shows up and maybe gets disappointed with John Cena and says, I'm taking that belt from you. Yeah, see, Roman or CM Punk are the only ones left. Now, CM Punk has to face Cena at some point, right? Because those two guys have a history. That was a great moment when the two of them were the only ones left standing for a while during Elimination Chamber this year. And you could see them each say it. Cena said, "I missed you." And CM Punk said, "I missed you too." And they kind of grinned at each other, got in the ring, and had a slobber knocker for a few minutes. So, yeah, CM Punk is the only guy left who has a history with Cena, who you could put him in there with now, who has some real babyface aura around him. It's got to be Roman or CM Punk at this point. And I don't know. It's not a long game. What say you, John, if you can hear us? I do not hear him. Perhaps he is unavoidably detained at the moment. To quote Carl Spackler from Caddyshack, "I was unavoidably detained." So there you go. So yeah, I mean, where does the Cena program go for here? If this is your A storyline, your level A, grade A storyline on SmackDown, and really in the whole company, John Cena finally turning heel, getting a title run. He's on the program. I mean, they have a little over 6 months till the end of 2025. Because, the final pay-per-view of the year is Survivor Series, which is end of November. So that's a little more than 6 months away from now, middle of May, early May. Unless they're going to drag it out to perhaps there's a Saturday night's main event in December that they want Cena to be on for his final appearance. Or they're swerving everybody and Cena's going to wrestle into 2026. Because the whole retirement angle was fed to us before we knew Cena was turning heel. Yes, Cena's doing the countdown, saying he only has 24 appearances left after tonight. Yes. So that gives him, there's a little more than 24 weeks left in the year. So he's going to be working. He can work maybe 3 out of every 4 weeks. 3 times every 4 weeks, he can get it done.
All right, y'all.
There he is. Here? We're wondering what John Cena's going to do from here. The Fixer and I are going back and forth. CM Punk or Roman Reigns.
What? To get the belt?
No, just to have him in an angle. Everybody else already is in a feud. Every other good babyface, top-level babyface, is in a feud already. They're already doing something. Who's left to feed to Cena? It's got to be Punk or Roman, right? Unless you're going to bring Cody Rhodes back to retread that one.
Maybe Punk at SummerSlam.
Maybe. There's a Saturday night's main event coming up in 2 weeks, by the way. Memorial Day weekend, I think we have one, the 24th. And then another one in July. And then maybe there's one more in December.
The promos would be really good heading into that match with CM Punk and John Cena.
Yes.
Because John Cena is going to, you could always, it'll be good if someone that's allowed to use the ammo against CM Punk does. When he says, "Oh, this is great. This is grand. You hear him. You know what his guy's been like, he can really lay into him."
Yep.
Yeah, I don't know. It either feels like Cody has to win it again. I don't know that Roman Reigns is going to do it. Maybe Roman. I don't know.
Well, Fixer's saying he doesn't think that Cena loses the belt at all. It just becomes a point like who are you going to feed to Cena then? I mean, Randy Orton looked like a really good first person because of their history together. But yeah, like where does Cena go from here?
I don't know that he can keep the belt, because that's going to ruin everything then. Because he said it's going to take all the legacy away from it.
Yeah, maybe he retires with it.
And then you just don't have that lineage anymore. That's it. You'll never talk about
you bring back the belt and, whatever.
Okay, yeah, you bring it back. And then say, yeah, he never lost it.
WWE has a way of doing that.
Right.
They did it with the current World Heavyweight Championship that's mostly defended on Raw.
Yeah.
That's their move. You know, that's that's the WWE's finishing move. That's their one move of doom. Two moves of doom: retire a belt, bring it back.
Dom, this is our best ever Italian goodbye.
Right, this has been a lot of fun. This was a pretty cool live stream to do as well, since you hadn't seen the show. And so we were doing, your predictions versus what actually happened. This was a fun live stream. I'm glad you thought of this, and I'm glad we were able to go live after the event. It's been a while since we've gone live after an event. This was fun.
It's so much funner when you do, right? You have that adrenaline from the match, and then you can go right into it.
Yes, and it looks like the people who've been live streaming along with us are enjoying it too.
I was going to say thank you so much for recapping everything. I knew you'd be able to handle it, but there's a little bit more pressure on you to understand everything in the match rather than have like some backup from me. So, great job recapping everything, and I like the formula of doing the predictions, and then how does it really turn out from your predictions? So, I think we have a cool one here. I'll make a short video based on the main event, or I might do McAfee Gunther. I might do our rant with McAfee and Gunther.
Okay.
Pat McAfee probably is going to get more views because he's huge on YouTube.
Sure.
So maybe that might be a zig when others are zagging.
And if you post it to any platform where McAfee has an account himself, tag him.
Yeah. Right.
Like that's what Twitter is for, tagging people. Is there a way to tag the Pat McAfee show on YouTube?
I could put the hashtags in for what I'll match his hashtags.
Okay.
And I'll do something like that. Okay. But anyways, my phone is about to die too, so I want to keep this a little brief. Fixer, thank you so much for joining. It's been a pleasure, man. And I was looking at your comments earlier. Really appreciate it. And then
McGregor's left testicle. Thank you. Two in the stinky. Thank you guys also for everyone who not only chimed in, but the people who said they were heading over to YouTube to subscribe there. Thank you very much. Subscribe and follow. Very good. Is there anybody we missed in the chat?
No.
A lot of names, a lot of new names in there tonight.
No, I think that was it. And I'm going to do my thing here. So, Dom, thank you so much. Fixer, really appreciate it. I know you're hanging in there, man. And thanks to others for joining. And have a great rest of your evening.